So when do we use component interaction? Let's say we have two components, component A and component B, and we form a relation like, so consider product price is my parent component. Inside product price, inside a product component, I'm going to define a child component called product details. Now when we have a data inside a parent component and we want to use that parent data in a child component, we need to use few annotations. So when we want to share the data between parent to child or child to parent, we will be using this component interaction techniques. So for example, I may have a sign up component called parent component. Inside parent component, I have a child component, and let's name it as password component. So now whenever a user types invalid password from child component, I want to send the message to parent component. So that is child to parent. So for this kind of interaction, we need to use few annotations like @input decorator. So if we need to send data from parent to child, we are going to use @input, and @output is used to send the data from child to parent component. Without parent and child relationship, we can still pass the data by using routes and services. In the upcoming videos, we will see the routes and services. Now let's see an example of input and @output decorators. Alright, so here is my code. Previously we have created products component, and let's see the output how it looks like. Okay, so we just have the product component. So let's go back here. We will create, let me delete this folder. So inside components there is a product folder. Okay, so let's say here I'll create ng generate component slash product details. So I'm going to create a component called product details. Alright, so inside components we see products and product details. Now there is no relationship between these two. Let's say if I go to app component, and below the app component if I write app product details and save this, and let's go back to the output. So you see product detail works, but now these two product and product details are used inside the app component. So these two are child for the app component, right? But I want to make a relation, product details should be the child for the app product. So I'll take out this and go to the products component. In the products component, I'm going to define product details. Okay, so now let's go back here. Now you see product details. So let's do some styling here to identify. So in product details, let me create a style here, product, and I'll create a div block for this div. Okay, and here class equals to product details. Alright, I have two classes, so let me add some styles here. Dot product, border 2 pixels, solid red, maybe height 400 pixel. Then we have product details, just to see what is the scope of this. Okay, so product details dot product details, border 2 pixels, solid blue. Okay, then height I'll just All right. So if you see right now, the product details is inside the product component. All right. So now what we are going to do, this price, if I am going to declare it here, will I get the value? Let's see. So here uh, in the product component.ts, there is this is the parent. So this is my variable. So this product price, if I am going to use in the product details component, let's see what happens. Okay, h2 we use string interpolation and just say product price. Definitely it is going to throw an error because product price is not recognized. It does not exist inside the product details, so that our TypeScript file is does not contain that value. So now the concept is we are going to use @input annotation in the product details component, which is the child component. Let's use @input annotation, and @input annotation, you can see it's coming from Angular core. So once we declare @input, let's declare a variable. Okay, I'll say product of any type. I need to get this value. Okay, so I'm looking for an object from a parent which belongs to product. So now let's go back to the parent component, which is a product component. So here I am going to create an object called product. I'm going to create an object called product details. So this product details is an object which contains different key values like name, iPhone 14, and price. I can use 1000 here. Then I can say color, pink, and finally I want to use capacity, which is 256 GB. Okay, so let's do this string. This is a string. Okay, all right. So now we have a product details object. This product details object, it's available in the parent, and in the product details dot component, we are saying we are going to use it here. Okay, we want that object here. Now what I'm going to do, let's go to the product details product component dot html. So here in the parent component, we have the child component declaration. So what we are going to use, we are going to use the property called product, and here this product, we need the parent object. So what is the parent object? So we go back here, look for the product details. So here I'm going to use this. Oh, space is missing. All right, so now the error is gone. Now with this property, with this object in the product details, so we are already saying I'm going to get some input from the parent, okay, of any type. So now let's go to the product, and here we'll use the string interpolation and say product dot price, and let's duplicate this and say product dot name. So let's go back to the component. Yes, so you can see the product title is coming and the product price is also coming from the parent. So this is how we are going to use parent to child. So what we did, in the parent component, we have created an object, that is the data we need it in child component, and in the HTML we have created a property called product, and the object whatever we have created in the parent component, that we have assigned to this object, assigned to this property. In the child component, which is product details component, in the TypeScript file we have used @input annotation and declared a object here, variable here, and with this variable we are going to consume the values. Now let's see child to parent interaction. Okay, now let's see child to parent. So for that we are going to use @output decorator. For that we are going to use @output decorator. So let's come back to the code. So first step, what we are going to do, in the product details, which is the child component, we are going to use maybe here the product details. Let me create a button here, button, and here let's say on click of this button, let's say check product is my function, and I'll say submit or something. Okay, all right. So here check product, we are going to define this function in the product details. Okay, so what I'm going to do here in the product details, we are going to say @output annotation. So what I'm going to do, whenever someone clicks on the child component, I want to emit that data and display it in the parent. So let me create a function on child equals to, this is the event emitter, which can be any. So I'm using event emitter, so it says it cannot be find. So what we are going to use, event emitter output annotation. So these are coming from Angular core. Okay, so let's understand here first step. So we are saying @output, this on child change, this emitter we are going to send it to parent. Okay, so check product, this dot on child change dot emit, let's say I'm going to message from child component. Okay, so if you notice here, this is on child change, so this is my output from the child. So this message should be sent to the parent. So what is going to happen, so in the product details HTML, you notice there is a click event. So on click of this button, we are triggering check product. So let's go back to the check product. So in the check product, we have @output annotation, which emits this message. Now what is the next step? In the parent component, which is the product component.html, we need to use the binding. Okay, so what is that? On child change, I need the child data, I need the child data. Okay, so this child data in the product component, let's declare it here. Okay, so child data event of any, and then this dot child value equals to event. So we don't have this child value variable, let's create it here. Okay, so this child value I can use it in the HTML. All right, so let's go back to the UI. click on submit, you see message from child component is displayed. So what did we do here? So in the products which is in the child component, in the child component we have created a function. So whenever we click on a button, this output emitter will be triggered, and this output event should be captured in the parent component. So that's the reason we have the data binding here. And on child change is the value we are going to consume it, and then we will going to display it in the HTML or template. Okay, thank you for watching.